Hey guys, this is Locke. I've already done a video on Cocoa, but I feel like I undersold her in that video. I mean, I said positive things. I said she was a strong character. I said a lot of good things about her, but I still feel like she's even better than I said. And I feel like I should show you guys exactly how good she is. So she does three things really well. She is a really, really strong tank. She is a really strong healer, and she's also a really good buffer as well. And I'm going to show you like some very specific cases of why she's better at tanking than other tanks, for example. So she has this standard tanking skill. It protects allies. It does the cover mechanic. But if you compare her with, like, say, Mathia's tanking skill, so Mathia has guard. So this protects against physical attacks and can be activated once per round, right? But for Cocoa, her skill, there's no limit. She can keep on using it, right? It protects against all single target attacks, and there's no limit. She can do it like 10 times. If there's 10 attacks, she'll protect your allies 10 times, which is insane. Like, compared to the standard guard skill, this is a way stronger version of a tanking skill, right? And that's just one thing that she does. She does a bunch of other things as well. But already that was pretty insane. Like, just the difference in that skill. I thought there would be like a limit of like one or two, but no, it's unlimited. And then she also does healing really well as well. Now I want to compare her with Inna. My Inna's already at level 59, so I can't de-level her, but I left my Cocoa at level 55 because I feel like that's where most people will be able to have her at if you get her. They're both using Mercy of the High Priestess Tarot. They're both using the healing resonance. And let's take a look to see how much healing they will both do. So I'm just going to put them both here, and we can compare. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this guy. So from the trait, she does 948 healing. Let's compare that with Inna. So Inna does 746. I'm not counting what she does on the guard because the guard has a healing passive reaction that increases the healing by 30%, but she does 746 something, whereas Cocoa does 900 something. So already the trait is the healing from the trait, like the passive healing without doing anything, it's already stronger on Cocoa. Now let's look at the group healing. So Cocoa, with this skill, she heals for 2,654 health in the AoE, right? And let's compare that with Inna. Inna heals for 2,238. So Cocoa already does even more healing, like group healing, than Inna does. Now there is a limitation because Inna's skill can be used every turn. It costs 2 energy, but as long as you have 2 energy, you can keep on using it. Whereas Cocoa, you can only use this once every 3 turns. If you get the happiness debuff, okay, you can use it once every 2 turns, but you can't keep spamming it every turn unless you do a bunch of other things to do that. But and this is not just a standard heal. It also gives you crit damage, and then it gives you bento. And bento means at the start of your turn, you recover an additional 25% of HP, and you dispel 2 debuffs. So Inna, like, that's the great thing about Inna, right? Because she is able to dispel 2 debuffs, but Cocoa does the same thing. And at the start of your turn, you get an additional healing too. The other thing about Bento is that it's part of her trait. It can give you happiness. There's a 30% chance to gain happiness, which will decrease your energy consumption by 1, and also reduce your cooldown reduction by 1 as well. So, it's just this is just an insane skill. It does so much stuff, and it heals more than Inna does, which is just like icing on the cake. It's just crazy to me. And then she also, like, whenever she gets hit, that's the reaction. It can only be activated 2 times per round, but she heals herself and somebody else for up to 12% of her health. And the way that I've set her up, I put in a lot of what's it called? Uh, I put on healing increase stuff on her, so it'll be even more than 12%. But if you didn't see just now, the additional healing that was triggered by the bento was an additional 1,500 health, I believe. So if you add the 1,500 to the 2,600 from the skill, that's over 4,000 that she's healing, which is just an insane amount. And then take a look at it and see what happens when somebody hits. She heals herself for 1,000 HP, and then heals another person for 1,000 HP as well. So all in all, like she provides so much healing. I feel like she's the best healer right now. Honestly, like the amount of healing she can do just seems like there's so much. Okay, what about single target? Maybe Inna does more single target healing. Let's take a look. So if I'm healing herself, she does 3,731 heal. Okay, that's a lot. So let's take a look to see if we can do something about that. 3,700, right? So what about her? Well, her single target healing ability, which is this one, this Springy Bandage, heals for 2,200. Okay, so it's not. Wait, did I lose something? No, 2,200. Okay, so that's not bad. I mean, it's not as so Inna does win there, but she has another skill. So this first skill only heals for 25% of the caster's HP, but then the second skill, which you can use 3 times in the battle, heals for 45%. So if I use that skill, then she heals for 3,900. So I mean, the number of heals you can do is limited because you can only do 3 times of this skill and 5 times of the other skill. But I feel like, like these battles don't last forever. In a standard game that's 15 turns and she already gets 8 uses of heal with that skill, that's a lot of healing. So I don't know. I feel like she's just the better healer. Like I feel like she's the best healer in the game right now of all the characters that are released. I mean, if you disagree with me, let me know. And okay, there's other stuff that Inna can do. She has utility. She can do, this one. She can bring a guard. She can respawn the guard. She can give co-op attack and defense to your allies. Like, yeah, okay, she can do a bunch of other stuff, and that's why she's so great. But just in terms of pure healing, I feel like Cocoa is the better healer, which is insane because she's a really strong tank as well. Yeah, so I don't know what to say. It's blowing my mind a bit that how strong she is. And okay, so I wanted to show you that as well because you see that Cocoa's skill, her guard skill, it's assisting cover. It says that it takes any single target attacks. It's not only physical. It's not only magical. It protects against all single target attacks. Whereas Mathia's skill only protects against physical attacks. So this is a way superior guard skill already. Okay, and then she does other things too. She just does so much. It's just like this. Oh, okay. I have to go back because I don't want to wait for the cooldown. Okay, and so this skill, I feel like this is one of the strongest skills in the game, this middle skill here, because you can use 4 different skills. When I initially read this, I thought, okay, you pick one of the 4 skills and then it stays that way for the game. Like if you pick the bandage, you have to keep using the bandage for the rest of this game. But no, you can use these 4 skills whenever this skill is on cooldown, which is just an insane effect. So I already talked about this one, which gives you 25% healing. This one gives you 45% healing and 1 energy back. And then this one, it dispels all debuffs from the target and gives them damage increase 3 and damage reduction 3. And then also an immune to attribute debuff. So it does a bunch of things, but the most important thing here, in my opinion, is that damage reduction 3. So Cocoa does a lot of healing. And because of the way I built my Cocoa just now, I made her heals be stronger, right? So she's lacking that damage reduction that other tanks tend to have, but you already have that skill within here. Like, you don't even have to give up a slot for it. You can just using this skill on herself gives you damage reduction 3 for 3 turns. So she will take reduced damage. And again, it's just insane all the stuff that she can do. So she will do healing, she will do tanking quite well. I've talked about 2 skills. Like, one skill is she has a better guard, and then now the other skill I talked about lets you know that she can also have damage reduction 3 without giving up your healing. Right? The only thing you are giving up is that you have 1 cooldown, because when you use that skill you have to wait for 1 cooldown and then you can use it again. But you can see that she's just so insane. She, like, I was playing around with her a bit, and then I was just so shocked at how good she is. And this is at 1 star. Like, I've read videos otherwise of people saying, hey, you know what, like, yeah, you really need to get her 5 star. And I agree, she's going to be fantastic, like tier 0, like one of the best characters in the game at 5 star. But at 1 star, she's already so insane. Like, I feel like they did so much with her. And of course, she also gives you the crit buffs as well. So she increases crit rate for your whole team if you can get them in this range by 30%, and increases crit damage by 15%. And I feel like crit is one of those things where it's really hard to get to. Like, it's hard to find sources of crit sometimes, especially this fairly early in the game. So this is insane. This is an insane buff for your team, especially if you're running a crit-based team like I am. And then, so before, when I talked about the trait before, I said, okay, so you can give the breakfast effect to 1 person on your team. And then if you get it to 3 star, you can give it to 2 people on your team, right? And then I said, oh yeah, you have to play around and see like who you want to give that effect to. But you can give your entire team that effect with this skill. With the Iron Pot Stew, you can give everyone bento. And if she's at 5 stars, that means everyone on your team basically gets that energy reduction effect and also gets the cooldown reduction effect as well. So again, like, even better than I thought. Yeah, and I've only talked about like 3 skills, but already it's so insane. And I haven't even talked about the last skill that she has here, the Hasilan, the mushroom. I don't know how to, like, I have trouble pronouncing some words. So the mushroom skill. So it deals 30% of the target's HP, which is really, really good in several circumstances. I mean, against bosses, it does reduce damage, but about everyone else, it does a lot of damage, 30% of their max HP. And then inflicts sleep for 1 turn. So if you are being swarmed by many enemies, you can sleep one of them and do a lot of damage, and then inflict 2 stacks of infection, which is going to start doing damage from that as well. So this is a great skill in tower. It's a great skill in these tarot or other places where you're swarmed with a lot of enemies. And again, you're not giving up anything to use this. You're probably going to use this skill because you get 4 skills within it. You're still going to have a lot of healing. You're still going to have the Snow Lotus, which gives you the damage reduction. And then you're also going to have this skill, which does piercing damage. Piercing means it's not reduced by defense or magic defense. And yeah, it's just insane. And by the way, if you feel like, the Snow Lotus is not enough, like if you feel like damage reduction 3 is not good enough, you can actually take this skill as well, which gives you damage reduction 4. It has a 5-turn cooldown, but it lasts for 3 turns. And it does not stack with the damage reduction 3. So if you have the damage reduction 4 effect on herself, and then you give the damage reduction 3, it's not going to be like, it's not gonna do anything. It's a stronger effect is going to be taking place. So that's the reason why I didn't take this, because initially I thought this is a great skill to have as a tank, but then I realized I already, like, if I really need to have her be tanky for 3 turns, I can just use the Snow Lotus skill. So, just insane. Okay, so how about we look at her in some, a little bit more difficult content. So let's look at her in the Tarot Residual. So I'm gonna put her here and see how well she does. So this is the team I'm using, and I'm just gonna have her stay there and tank against these guys. So I'm gonna move everyone else out of the way. And I'm gonna put her right here, and I'm gonna put this effect on her, the Snow Lotus, which I feel like everyone should have, in the sense that I feel like it's such a versatile skill that everyone should be using this skill. That's what I mean. Like, you might not have Mind's Eye, right? Because you might be like, oh, no, she has so many other good skills, I don't want to take Mind's Eye. Okay, fine. But I feel like this is a skill that everyone should be taking because it's just so versatile, because you can do 4 different things with it. So anyway, that's let's see how she tanks these 2 guys. Okay, so he hits her for 2,000 something damage, and she heals back for 1,000. And then he hits for 3,000 something damage, and then heals back for 1,000. And then her trait heals her again for 900 something. And if she needs to, she can use this and get back to full health. And then if she takes damage from those 2 skills again, like, I just want to show you, like, her lasting power with how she tanks. Okay, so she again, and then this time, because of the bento effect, because I use this skill, so she has bento, which means she's going to heal herself at 25% of her health. So cup that with the trait, it basically means she, like you saw, she did an insane amount of healing. So unless somebody can, like, one-shot her, she's going to keep healing herself, and it's easy to get her back up to full health. So she's like a tank that just never dies. Like, other tanks, I had to build a lot of, like, damage reduction, but on her, I have no damage reduction. Like, I mean, you saw the gears and everything that I had on her, right? She has like, nothing. Everything is, like, healer focused, but she still does. She's still hard to kill. See, as you can see, there's nothing, no gears in here, resonance or the tarot or anything that gives her damage reduction. And still, she is able to tank quite well. And she's the level 55, whereas everyone else on my team is level 59, but she can compete with them. I mean, 4 levels does give quite a bit. So that's an additional 230 health. So she can get up to, like, 6k health, right? So that is that is a bit, but she's already doing so much just at level 55. So yeah, I feel like I already gave her a very strong review, but now I feel like I'm giving an even, like, I feel like I still underestimated her, and I had to kind of talk about her more because she's just so insane. I did not realize that this is how good she is. So I do strongly recommend people to get her. If you don't like her, if you feel like, I don't like how she looks like, or I feel like, oh, I don't need to get the meta units, I want to try for some challenges, I want to use, like, whatever other units, that's fine. Like, you should play the game how you like, because if you're pulling for her because I'm telling you to pull for her, not because you want to, you're going to find that you're going to start hating the game. You're going to say that, like, you're going to get bored of the game or have negative connotations to it. So I recommend that, first of all, pull who you want to. Like, pull a character that you really like. But if you're looking for characters that are strong, or if you're on the fence about her and not sure if you should go for her or someone else, she just does so much that I don't think you could go wrong pulling for her. And yeah, like, that's it. Mic drop. She's just so strong that I don't think you regret pulling for her. Like, let's just say that. If you have her, I don't think you would regret it because she's just so strong. I already did a video talking about her skills. I went through, all of her skills and what I think, and pretty much it's exactly what I said in the video, so I don't want to go over it again. The one thing that I didn't realize was that this skill lets you pick any of the 4 anytime you want. So it was even better than I thought. So I wanted to correct that. And then, oh, and then, so I mentioned this as well, but if I need to fight against a boss for some reason, I would probably take the Crushing Bash and also her standard skill, Try the Pan, because both of those will reduce the physical defense of the boss and also give a vulnerability debuff to the boss, which lets my whole team do so much more damage to the boss. I also mentioned that on my other video as well, but that's how I would build her. There isn't any skill that I picked so far that I regret, so I feel like this is the standard build you would go, and probably the Crushing Bash. I can also see some people going for the Invulnerable skill as well, because it does give you damage reduction 4 and other things. But yeah, if you feel like you need the damage reduction 4 instead of the 3 that she gets from the skill, I could see people doing that as well. What are her best gears? Honestly, I don't know. This is the gears that I have, so I'm just using this. I don't know what is a better way to put her. Should you go with like a standard tank build? Like, should you go with a Silence the Hermit and like using a resonance that decreases the physical or magical damage? You could do that if you feel like she's getting one shot. Because if she's getting one shot, then it doesn't matter how much she can heal. Like, if in one turn she, or not even one shot, but if one turn she can get killed before you have a chance to heal, then like it doesn't matter how much she can heal, she's dead. So if you're running into that problem, then I can see you building that way. Like, you're building with you know, more damage reduction, because that's what you need. Right now I feel like with the amount of health that she has, and with the reaction, the healing reaction that keeps healing her for 1,000 every time she takes, not every time, but 2 times around she takes damage, I feel like she's tanky enough with that setup. That's why I'm running her this way, but I could see people going that way as well. So that's it for this video. Honestly, I'm sure I'm going to be making a lot more videos on Cocoa, because I feel like she just opened a lot of different playstyles and options and everything. So honestly, just stay tuned for more videos of Cocoa, because she is just an insane character, and I feel like there's a lot to do with her. So anyway, that's it for this video. I hope I'll see you guys in the next one.